If you're hoping to buy a home within the next year or two, maybe even 3, let me walk you through 3 things you need to be doing right now. The first thing you want to do is connect with a realtor. Find one that you will connect with personally, you'll enjoy working with, they'll be fun to work with, and most importantly, you can trust that they'll have you in their best interest. Even if you don't plan on buying for a while or you're not even sure what your timeline is, it's still important to connect with a realtor, and this is why. If you're unfamiliar with the home buying process, or maybe it's been a while, they can walk you through the entire process and everything you need to do to get your ducks in line. It's also great just to get on each other's radar. So if the buyer ever has questions, they know they have a person to reach out to ask rather than Googling and getting half little bits of information here and there. Saves a lot of time. And if it's necessary and you do need to time the market appropriately, they can help you do that. Also, as you're getting closer to buying, they will keep an eye out for properties that would fit you perfectly. So if maybe, a couple weeks before your goal, the perfect house comes on the market, you don't want to miss out on that. And your realtor is going to make sure you do not miss out on the perfect home for you. That's their job. Lastly, they are also accountability buddies for you. If you say, hey, I'd love to buy a house before summer, they're going to keep following up with you. We're really good at that. And we're going to help you reach that goal in any way that we can. Next, number 2 is getting with a lender. One of the reasons why you should connect with a realtor first is so that they can refer you to a good lender that they trust and that they use. I have a lender that I love and I recommend to all of my clients, and I've never had a problem with him. When I've sometimes used other lenders because of my buyer's preferences, that's when I've run into issues. I don't know that lender, I haven't worked with them before, and I can't necessarily vouch for them. So that's why you always want to get with a realtor first to get that referral for a really quality lender. And the reason you need a lender early on is to get pre-qualified. Now, if you don't know what a pre-qualification is, that's all right, I'll explain it really briefly. A pre-qualification is a documentation or a letter from a lender stating that you, as a buyer, are already qualified to buy a home under an X amount of purchase price, given that you provide a certain amount of down payment and a bank will loan the rest. Now, that pre-qualification is super important because that's what pre-qualifies you for even getting a loan. And this document is totally required when even submitting an offer. When I write offers for my clients, I submit the offer, other documents as necessary, a pre-qualification letter. So if you find a house that you absolutely love, you cannot write an offer unless you have a pre-qualification letter. Or if you buy the house in cash, then you don't even need a lender or any of this. Not only is this pre-qualification letter a roadmap for you, but it's also your budget. You cannot buy a house above what you are pre-qualified for. And it's your roadmap because if you realize, we're only pre-qualified for this amount, but that means we can't really buy a house in the area that we really liked, and maybe we're off by 50 grand or 100 grand or whatever it is, that means you and your agent and even your lender can, as a team, work together to help you build your credit, help you get maybe a little bit more savings or even gift money, something to help you get to that goal amount that you are wanting to purchase with it. And the third thing is setting a timeline. Now that you've connected with an agent, you have a lender that you're working with, and a pre-qualification that tells you you can buy a house. Now, the third thing you need to do is just set a timeline, set a goal. What is a realistic timeline you would like to buy a house within? That is not going to be rushed by your lender or your agent. We're here to help you reach your goals in the timeline you would like to reach them in. A couple things to consider for this timeline is how much are you paying in rent and how much are you able to save while renting? Sometimes you're spending more money in rent than what you are saving every month. For example, while renting, someone could spend upwards of $30,000 in rent in a year and only be able to save $10,000. So is renting for another year really worth it to throw 30 grand out the window to save the 10 grand? Maybe there's other factors going on in your life during that year and you want to make sure that you're buying at the right time in your life. The second thing is timing the market. Now, I don't always recommend this. My first recommendation is to buy when you're ready to buy. The market is constantly fluctuating. You cannot forecast, but there are trends throughout the year that can help you decide when to purchase if that is necessary. For example, inventory, the number of houses on the market is typically higher during springtime. So if you're really picky and you want a lot of options, springtime's a great time to look. However, the downside of that is because there's lots of options and lots of buyers entering the market, that's when we see the prices rise a little bit. Another example is buying during the holidays. Inventory is actually really low, but there's also less buyers in the market and less competition. Usually around October, November, houses can sit for a long time and they might be more open to negotiating the price. It really all depends on the market, the area you're looking in, and where you're at in your timeline. And that's where your agent can really help you out with that timeline, mapping everything out and making a goal of a good time to buy. And that's why they're the most important person to connect with first. I'm Jessica Doberneck, an Arizona realtor with a background in interior design. Here on the Do Over Next, we are all things real estate, and I'd love to connect with you.